Okay, now we're live. All right, so we had some technical difficulties. So welcome to the 4th episode of the FiberCast Podcast, the podcast for outliers by outliers. And today I have a really, really good friend of mine, Vanessa, who's one of the few people that I know that actually give meaning to that word outlier because of all the shit that she's juggling. And she'll talk about that later. But yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for being on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So on our way here, I was talking to you about how if you were to tell your dad what it is that you're currently doing right now, like actually literally tell him like what you're doing, he would flip the fuck out. So tell the people what you're doing right now.
Okay, so we've met like two times.
And speak just into the
Sorry.
Yeah.
We've met like 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know you because I've had mutual friends with you. They talk about you, so
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're a good person.
Assuming.
We're in your basement with cameras.
And what time is it? It's 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock at night. So if I was to tell my dad that, wow, I wouldn't be here. I think actually anybody who knows my dad, he would actually already be here outside, like waiting
cops.
for us.
With the cops.
No, I'm so serious. You can ask anybody who knows my dad. He would already be here with the cops saying like, why do you have my daughter? What are you doing with her in your basement? You do not look like you're her age.
What's a podcast? Is that slang for rape?
Literally.
All right, but okay. So what made you accept my invitation to come on this podcast? Like, do you consume podcasts? Were you knowledgeable of what it was before? What's your take on podcasting in general?
Okay, so like a couple of months ago, actually, with a friend, he was trying to convince me to start doing podcasts. Start getting into them, hearing them, listening, gaining more knowledge. But I wasn't into it. I think I wasn't at the right state of mind yet to be into it. The reason why I did agree with you to doing this is because, one, I think helping each other is the best thing out there, especially, we're all striving to get through our goals. We're all trying to get somewhere, and we do need help from one another. I don't think that we can reach our goals by ourselves. I think helping one another is one of the best things to do, and that's why I'm here. Super nervous.
No, for sure.
And also, it's like somebody once told me Sorry.
No, yeah. You're fine. You're doing great. Just lift up your mic a bit. Yeah, because it's kind of falling down. There you go. No, perfect. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so one time I was doing a favor for some person, and he looked at me and he's like, it's okay to be selfish. It's okay to ask me for something that you want. And I looked at him and I was like, oh, I'm just doing this favor for you. I'm just helping you out. And he said, no, whatever you want, tell me now, and I can help you too. So with that being said, I always kept that in mind. Every time somebody asks me a question, I always try to think in a way like, how will it benefit me?
In the long run.
So I feel like since we are both young, we're both starting our brands. I think just as much as me being here and just doing this podcast with you might actually help me. Something great might actually come out of this, especially because it's out of my comfort zone. There's microphones and cameras all around me.
And people are live right now watching everything. Me. So you can't fuck up.
And everybody knows that I'm freaking out inside.
No, it's fine though. But yeah, so again, when we were coming here, you were talking about just getting out of your comfort zone and how important that is and how you're just saying yes to everything. And we even joked around, like we were driving past the bridge. I was like, oh, really? All right, so I'll just park the car right here and just jump off the bridge. How about that? And she's like, yeah, hell yeah. But then I told her, I was like, yo, chill. I was like, I'm playing. But I also agree that like stepping out of your comfort zone, because there's no growth without discomfort, right? There's no growth without adversity. There's no growth without like that resistance, right? So you have to push against something in order to actually, get things moving and get the ball rolling and stuff. And I'm really huge on that and just saying yes to like, of course, like I'll think about what I'm saying yes to, but not think too much about it, because otherwise you'll get like paranoid and you're like, oh, like this seems cool at first.
That's when your fear comes in.
Yes, because you give it time and you allow it that small little gap.
Don't hesitate, just go for it.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. But yeah, so from the last podcast I did, what I'm doing now is I'm asking every guest to give me a quick summary of what Vanessa's childhood upbringing looked like. Just go as far as you can remember, go as far as you feel comfortable. just give me a quick summary of what it looked like being Vanessa, I don't know, a couple of years back, of like your childhood and all that stuff.
Okay, so this is actually a really good question. Call me on the spot, but it's a good question because, like I just said, this is helping me out with my name brand. So I am writing a book, and it is called Vanessa's Touch. Well, it's actually called It's a Story, Vanessa's Touch, and it starts off with my background of how I do grow up, and I grew up around a lot of masculine men, those men who think that like
macho men,
yep. I'm super strong, I don't need a woman by my side, or it's like, women are supposed to be in the kitchen. So that's really how I grew up. I'm Portuguese, very traditional parents,
I know. Yeah.
I actually sneaked around a lot, I'm where I'm at today from sneaking around. Like even the college.
Sneak around to do what?
Actually, I'm really good at tuition. I don't do anything bad out in the streets.
Remember, we're filming everything. Vanessa's mom, dad, shout out.
I'm super scared because I'm gonna go home and get in trouble.
Get whooped.
No, but sneaking around, I'm saying like, to get anything I can to get me out of the house, especially opportunities like to go to the school that I go to, New York School of Interior Design. Dude, I had to go behind my parents' backs to like apply to this school. I had to get all my parents' information to go to the school because they didn't want me to go all the way to New York. They were like, oh, why don't you just go to Kane University or Montclair or Rutgers? And I was like, I don't like doing what everybody else does. And my passion was interior design, still is, but I'm looking at that more towards a career. And a hobby, a really big passion would be creative writing. So that's basically is my childhood, is just sneaking around. I had my older brother to always cover my ass. So we can curse here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
This is not PG-13.
Just making sure. So my brother used to cover my ass a lot. He still does to this day. He doesn't live with us. Somehow he still covers.
That's good though. I mean, having that relationship with your siblings rather than trying to rat each other out constantly and try to.
Fun fact is like we're both 11 years apart from each other.
Holy shit.
But we were both born on November 2nd.
No.
Yeah. So like my dad hit it 2 times and striked.
Just on the right time, right place.
Yeah.
That's crazy because me and my sister, we're 6 years apart and we were born on the same day on October 31st, Halloween.
Oh, wow.
So both of us 6 years apart and you and your brother 11 years apart. That's crazy.
Wow. I never met anybody else like that. That's cool.
You said November.
Yes.
Okay.
Scorpio.
I was about to ask that. I was about to ask if you believe in horoscopes and what's your take on horoscopes?
I do believe it 100%. Everybody knows that.
All right, why?
I believe in horoscopes 100%, but I do believe that, we get influenced by the way we grow up as well. Just because on your horoscope it says like tomorrow's going to be an amazing day for you, don't kick that rock into the river or something, whatever. I couldn't even think of anything because I'm super nervous.
Yeah.
But
some proverb or some shit like that. Yeah,
just because it says that, it's not really going to happen because of the fact that, first of all, we all have different lives. We're all different ages. We are not all accessible to everything around us.
Yeah.
Like you're accessible to other things compared to compared to what I am to. And other people, I know others. So there's a lot of things that will affect the zodiac sign.
The outcome
of the zodiac, yeah. So I do believe, though, that the characteristics, like
personalities
the personalities is 100% true. Like, I truly believe it. I read everything about a Scorpio, and I can admit I'm that crazy, ambitious,
100%
Scorpion girl, Also, one fact that a lot of people don't know is that genders play a role in that as well.
Really?
Like male and female, they're actually different. Even though they're the same zodiac sign, they have different personalities. Not always the same. And a lot of people don't know that. Research.
I kind of noticed that with me and my sister. It's like she's more susceptible to like caring and touching and loving people and stuff, and I'm more like, she even plays around with me and she's like yo, like you have to be more human, you have to have like a bigger heart or some shit. It's just like for example, I can't remember the last time I hugged my mom. And that sounds really shitty. I love my mom But it's just something that like I don't have that habit to like walking into the house and like giving my mom a kiss on the cheek or hugging her or like that affection. I'm very just cold in that sense, but I'm not really cold. Like once you get to know me, like I'm the most open, friendly person. Yeah, it's just tough love.
Don't use a negative phrase.
Yeah, no, yeah, tough love. But like what I'm trying to get at is like my sister, like she's just like she has certain traits that I can't really resonate with and I can't really relate with, but we're the same, Scorpio too and stuff. And people always shit on Scorpios. I don't get that. It's like people always
they're
like
just jealous. Because we're super cool.
It's an intense sign, right? Apparently,
yeah, it is. It is like we're actually a water sign, but we get confused for fire signs because of our hot temper. But we're water signs. We're just as sensitive as them. We just have a whole shield on top of us.
Yeah.
We can control that. I think.
No. Speak for yourself.
I think. I don't know. It depends on the day.
What's your opinion? Because like the first thing I think about when somebody says like Scorpio is grudges.
Okay.
Resentment, grudges. What's your opinion on like holding grudges and having resentment and just...
Wow, that's so funny. Okay, so that's so funny that I thought you were gonna ask me a completely different question. But well, the relationship that I just got out of, my ex, he used to always look at me and he used to say like, your heart is so like black, like it's so cold. It's like relate. How can you do that? Like how do you leave all that pain and hurt inside of your heart? Like why can't you just, we just had this argument, let's just forget it and move on. But I can't do that. It's like you just affected me in some type of way.
Intensely,
and I didn't like it. You completely passed the boundaries, you disrespected. And it's like, how can I move on from a situation like that, especially if it hurt me? And then he would always repeatedly say that to me every time. And I have so many people who tell me that too. And I can hold a grudge. Sadly, I wish I couldn't, but I can. And I can hold it till the death of me.
Oh my God, I could relate 1,000%.
Yeah.
Like I could hold like any like small thing. Like I'll hold a grudge for years and years and years.
Literally.
And years and years. Like I've held grudges for
and
like
it can be over something so small. Yeah. Like my brother and I one time, I had a project to do in 4th or 5th grade, or maybe 3rd. Those 100 days of school projects where you like put 100 things on a big poster
of what you did throughout those 100 days,
or no? Like it can just be 100 objects. Like I remember my teacher, she said like go home and pick 100 things and put it on a poster. So I decided to do it 100 pennies. And I was telling my brother, so we're both sitting in his room arranging these pennies, and I was like, well, I want to do everything heads up. And my brother also has a creative side. And he's like, why don't you do heads up and then tails,
Alter, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, no, I want to do heads up. And then we just started arguing about that over pennies. And then you got
the board and you just snapped it in half. Like,
literally,
bitch, I said
you have to remember, we're both Scorpios. So it's like when we don't get what we want.
Yeah.
It's like the end of the story.
Yeah.
So like my mom's like rushing to the room because we're getting louder and louder, and he just like flipped the poster over and he's like, you know what, forget this shit, I'm out, you fucking deal with it.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
And I was like, he just cursed at me, I'm not talking to him again. We didn't talk for like a year and a half.
Living in the same house.
I was a 4th grader. I was like 10.
Wow.
Why was I even holding that grudge against my brother? But that just shows you I can really do it with anybody.
If my sister's watching this right now, or if she listens to this later, like she'll just be like, oh my God, like that's because like with my sister, like she knows that certain days like she can't even talk to me.
Oh yeah, my brother say I can't
because I'll be rude. And then she'll be mad, and then she'll hold grudges against me, and I'll hold grudges against her for holding grudges against me for talking to me when I told her not to talk to me, and then we'll just.
I think and then she'll be in her room. Thing.
It's 100%, but it gets intensified just by that personality and that like it's just like my mom, for example, like my mom said that she was starting to get depressed. In this household because we didn't show her any love. So it's like because she has 2 kids that are just stubborn and just hard-headed. And
I think my mom feels that way too. Sometimes at night I can't sleep. I feel so bad.
I feel bad too. My dad, so my mom and my dad, they divorced when I was like 2. They separated, and then I reestablished connections with my dad. I think it's been maybe I want to say like 6 years since I've like reestablished connection, and we're good friends and stuff. But even after 6 years, I've never called him dad. Even in Portuguese, he lives in Brazil. I never called him dad, and I never really called him by his name because his name is Cali.
Oh,
So I'm Cali Jr., Cali Filho, and then he's Cali Original.
Yeah, original.
Yeah, and then but I would never, like, I can't even call him by his name. It's like it's something so weird. Like there's no affection there. Like there's no, like, we're really good friends, but I treat him as if he were like a friend that I, a neighbor or some shit. And it's really funny because when I would go out with him, I would like try to like get his attention. I would just say, oh, Spetty, like, yo, because I couldn't say bye, which is dad in Portuguese, or even his name. Like I just didn't know how to address him. So like I think that I lack a lot when it comes to like affection. And my sister, since she's the opposite, she slowly tries to help me with that. And she's like, yo, you have to be more caring and you have to be more open and susceptible. I'm like, okay.
Wow, we're in the same boat, though.
I'll try.
My brother, though, is in your sister's position and I'm in yours. Like,
Really?
I'm not the cuddly person. That's something I used to argue about
I'm
with,
against.
Anybody I'm with, I'm so sorry, any relationship or whatever, because I'm not a cuddly person. 5 minutes and I'm done. I can't do it.
Do you think that has to do, like, are you a cynical person? Do you consider yourself to be like that person that you see, like, because, like, for example, if you put me in a situation and I feel like that person is being overly nice or that person's faking his smile, like, I'm not the type of person to play along.
Yeah, okay.
Because I can't fake shit. Like, I can't be fake in certain scenarios. Like, my authenticity would be, I would just be like,
what's
just staring at, like, are you guys seeing this? And then everybody's playing along, and I just can't. I refuse to play along.
Yeah.
Are you that type of person that you're kind of cynical towards shit?
Hell yeah, that's why in like I'm a very outgoing person, and a lot of people don't believe it, but I do have a shy side to me. But I'm starting to realize I don't think it's a shy side. I think it's just a side where it's like, if I'm that quiet, it's because something's going on and like I'm not okay with it. So I'm just going to pretend that I'm shy and I'm not going to talk. So don't talk to me and I won't talk to you.
I have the exact thing. Yeah. Just like people that don't know me, they think I'm timid and shy because I'm very reserved, but I keep shit to myself. Like I'm the type of person that ever since like high school, ever since middle school, I would always sit in the back of the classroom. Because in the back of the classroom, even at a young age, I would think, well, from here I can observe everybody. And by observing everybody, I would observe how each person, because like I'm very calculative in that sense where like I know how to read a room. I know how to like go about, communicating with people and stuff and like not getting myself into trouble. So I would like literally just observe everybody and just stay quiet. And then whenever I needed to do something, I would know what to do rather than sitting at the front and just being loud and just trying to prove yourself and all that stuff. So I was always, very reserved and very held back. And I think like that's a really good skill to have. It's like just learning how to be quiet, learning how to be, just observant and just looking at shit and just
a lawyer
analyzing.
Once told me, never
a lawyer.
He once told me, he said, like, never be never be the smartest person at the table.
No.
Never be the most talkative person at the table. And at the beginning, I when he first told me that, I didn't really understand what he meant until I was literally at a table with like my coworkers at a meeting.
Stupid people.
I'm sorry, but
they're all watching right now. Yo, shout out to your coworkers. Hey, it's lit.
In the spot.
It's lit.
But until we're actually sitting on that table and you realize like, you shouldn't be the smartest person at the table. Let other people talk. If you're the smartest person there, what are you doing there? Just leave.
You're at the wrong table.
Yeah, you're at the wrong table.
And I think that if you you should listen more than you talk, because I believe in being proactive rather than reactive. Right? So like reactive people are the people that just react to shit. Like they're like very what do you call it when you don't even think and you just act? It's intuitive. I don't know,
it's
but
just like that word that we were trying to figure out.
exactly. But I won't look at my phone because I have self-control. I'm playing, but it's just like learn how to be proactive rather than reactive to a point where you're able to like be the one that takes action rather than be the one that follows and that always receives orders and that always goes with the flow and stuff. So so being the smartest person in the room, like you're in the wrong room. Like you should just get the fuck out of there because you're.
What are you going to get out of it?
Because it all just levels out, right? So like everybody else levels out with each other. And then when you have people that are below you, they just tend to pull you down. So if you're at the table with like very successful and smart people, then you're just going to elevate yourself basically. Yeah. But okay, so now I want to really ask you, what in the world made you want to write a book?
Whoa, I love this question.
Like, why a book? Like, out of nowhere, you just got your laptop and started typing. Like, what motivated you?
Okay.
Like, what was the tipping point for that?
This is my favorite question. I love getting asked this question. Long story, but I'm gonna try to make it so. Oh, impulsive.
Impulsive. That's the word. Who said it?
JT.
Shout him out. JT saving the day, bro.
I was thinking like compulsive, but it's not compulsive. That's not the right word. I was close.
I was thinking intuitive, which kind of makes sense, but not really. But shout out JT.
Okay. So I always wanted to be an interior designer ever since 12 years old. And one time, I was going down Ferry Street and one of my friends, John, like messaged me saying like, you have to come to Eastside because you need to meet somebody. And I was like, damn, tight schedule. I can't really come. He's like, please, it's 5 minutes. You're not going to regret it. And I was like, dude, I really got to go to work. And he's like, 5 minutes, I swear. Calling me like nonstop, bothering me on my phone, whatever. So I went and I met this person and his name is Alex K. Colby. His name, he's actually known as Kung Pao Meow. Cool dude ever.
Kung Pao Meow.
You gotta search him up. You
His
gotta
name
see
is
videos.
dope. His name is dope.
Yeah, so look. So he was talking to me, and it was so funny because that conversation was so comfortable. I literally told him my whole life story. Traditional Portuguese parents, sneaked around, just like how I did here. And I told him I wanted to be an interior designer, blah, blah, blah. So he came out of nowhere and he was like, hey, I'm making a film called Impossible Possible. You have to be a part of it. And I looked at him and I was like, what?
Movie?
Did you not understand that I'm not good with
Cameras? We got 2 cameras, 3 cameras, 4 cameras here.
So as he's telling me, since I'm an emotional person, as he's telling me, like I have full-blown tears.
Really?
Dude, I cried before coming here. I cried before
You should have filmed that. You should have got that on live.
No.
Like, guys, I'm going to be on a podcast today.
Literally.
Start crying, busting your...
So he like looked at me and started laughing. He's like, why are you crying? I was like, I'm just
Why are you crying? The fuck? I didn't do anything. Did I do anything? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay.
That's
so he's
hilarious.
like, are you going to be a part of the film? Blah, blah. And I looked at him. I was like, yeah. I don't know how I'm going to overcome that fear, but I'll do it. He's like, okay, so take down my number. I took down his number, blah, blah. He messaged me within a week, and he's like, can you meet me here in New York? I said, okay, perfect. And he's like, come ready, come dressed, however you want, because I'm just going to interview you. You're going to speak, and then, we're going to do whatever you want for the video. So as soon as he told me that, I was like, I'm going to take advantage of it. I'm taking advantage of this, and I'm going to go big. So I told him I wanted to be an interior designer. So I was planning to make this video all about, like, a commercial, so like that interior designers out there, because he knows some, and he was going to publish it, obviously. So I was going to make it as a commercial for myself, so like that interior designers can find me.
Exposure.
Yes, as exposure. That's what I was doing. So throughout the interview, because he sat me down. Oh my God, you're so right. I just thought of this.
What?
We're in a basement right now with cameras and you. I did the same thing with him. I'm getting myself into these situations.
She said that she was losing her live virginity with me. Apparently,
but it wasn't live.
Oh,
no,
okay,
it wasn't live.
Okay,
no,
okay, cool.
But
cool,
still,
cool.
it was still like in a random room.
Okay.
Still in a random
room. Did your parents know?
No, they didn't. That's why I'm saying
I'm
getting
sneaked out
myself.
again. Okay, so you sneaked out.
So. Backtrack. Okay. So as he's asking me these interview questions, the one question he did ask me, because I mentioned it to him, is that I write poetry. That's something I used to keep sacred to me, and I would not tell anybody. Not a lot of people knew that I wrote poetry. I used to be really shy about posting, and now I am posting. I have 3 poems up so far.
Plug it in. Where could they find the poems?
www.vanessatouch.com.
All right. You guys
Go
know?
underneath Vanessa's voice because it'll be there.
I'll leave a link to everything that we discussed during the podcast episode below, so you guys check that out. But
Thank you.
Continue.
So he asked me about the poetry thing, and so I told him that I sneaked around in order to get to the school that I wanted to, that I gave him parents' information, my information, all that stuff. And that by prom, I still didn't even know what college I was going to because I was waiting for my acceptance letter. Since I was sneaking around, I had to send in a really late, application.
Yeah.
So he was like, that story's amazing, but I want to hear about your poems. Like, why doesn't anybody know about it? Blah, blah, blah. So I told him that I applied to a random school, Hofstra University. Randomly, I didn't even care about the school. And I sent them one of my poems that was literally about just myself, about my image and who I am. And I sent that as a personal statement. I didn't even send it as an essay. So we're not supposed to do that. Because I remember I got in trouble for doing that too. So I sneaked around my teachers, still did it. And I got accepted, $48,000 scholarship each year.
What?
And a handwritten note from the lady, I think her name was Karen.
From the dean?
From the dean. Yep.
Wow.
And she wrote down that my poetry was beautiful.
Wow.
With a smiley face and a heart.
Do you know that poem by heart?
No.
I was about to put you on the spot.
Yeah, let's not do that.
But still, but that's, wow. So she
told me that.
But wait, so your teachers said it was against the rules, or is that just against the rules for any college application?
Yeah, for any college application, you're
Why?
supposed to write an essay. It's a personal statement. You're supposed to write an essay about, I guess, your life. So
about
that they
why
can
you should
see.
be accepted.
Yeah,
stuff.
like why you should be accepted. Why should you get money? Why should we help you? Why should you be here? And I sent them a poem about myself.
Which set you apart.
From exactly,
FiberCast outliers.
There
By
you go.
outliers for outliers.
Something different. So that was almost 3 years ago when interior design was really big in my head, and that's all I cared about. So when I saw that big opportunity, like money's coming my way, I'm going to get a lot of help, I was like, I don't care about this. I care about doing interior design, I want to have my business. I want to go big. I want to touch furniture. I want to touch houses. I want to put my name out there,
Yeah.
So when I told him that, he freaked out. Like, he stopped the video. He stopped everything. He was jaw dropped, And he looked at me. He's like, yo, this story is going to go places. You have to start telling people that. You have to do something about this. If somebody wrote back to you, a dean, offered you a scholarship and everything, why aren't you taking action on that? I looked at him. I was like, because I'm not going to do that. I'm too shy to do that. So he looked at me. He's like, fine. Here's something cool. I'm also into meditation, by the way. Wellness. That's what I call it.
Which we'll touch on in a bit.
Got it. And he looked at me. He's like, hey, do you want to go do the Kundalini meditation? And I looked at him. I was like, what the fuck is that?
What is that? A drug? Is that slang for crack?
Yeah, I was like, what is that? So it's actually the best meditation. I recommend it to everybody. So that's literally, it's like the 7 chakras. So it's your 7 chakras, and you end up connecting with the world, the earth. So with your feet are the roots of the earth.
I think I've seen like images where it's like a spinal thing where there's like levels to it. And then,
it's the colors. Okay. It's your chakras. So I did that. And he's like, so you're liking it so far? I was like, yeah. I am. This is so cool. So I'm doing it, whatever, meditating. This was awesome. I felt so great. Like, it was unbelievable. I was shaking, dude. I was shaking of
During
happiness.
It?
No, after. Of the
Wow.
excitement and everything. So then, after that meditation, we reflected back and we started talking about the video. He's like, what do you want to do? Blah, blah, blah. How do you want to, showcase yourself? So I'm really big into like dressing up a certain way, like really classy at points, And I only wear 3 colors, which is black, white, and red. That's
really?
Like literally.
Just that.
I
but
literally
you're wearing
keep
white.
it. Yeah, I know. I literally keep it towards these colors. There's some days where I go off the color.
Is there a reason why? Like a special meaning behind it, or is it just a
I just
color
feel
that you
like
like?
I look really good in them.
Okay,
I feel like they suit me. I feel like when people see those colors, it looks like me. I don't know.
Yeah.
So then I went with him, and he's like, okay, so since you still don't know what you want to do for your video, which I didn't, do you want to come with me to an all men's photo shoot? When you hear all men's photo shoot, women, what comes to your head?
First, let's just recap real quick. She was in this man's basement. He invited her to go do some crazy meditation that she never heard of before. They did the meditation. Did you like that? Yeah, I loved it. Now let's go to a photo shoot with only men. And like, you're going to be the only woman there. It's like 20 men. Are you cool with that? You're like, yeah, why not?
Well, to be honest, like, you know, adrenaline feeling was going through
Emotion.
my body. So many emotions.
Yeah.
I just had to say yes. I don't know. So I'm in there and I just see men after men after men. And,
Were they wearing clothes?
Oh, sadly, yeah. They were,
She said sadly, so I think I know why she said yes.
You know, so they're all wearing clothes. They're all taking these photos, whatever. Awesome. So I was super bored and I was on my phone. I swear I'm getting to the point.
No, take your time.
Okay, so I'm on my phone, blah, blah, blah. And then I looked over to John because at the time John was there. John DeBronco, shout out. He was there with me at the time. And I looked at him and I was like, damn, do you think if we ask him for a picture, he'll take a picture of us? He's like, oh, I don't know, we should try. So John, he was always that person that would like push me to do things because he knew that I was super shy around stuff like this. So I looked at him, I was like, hell no, I'm not doing that. Never mind. I'll just stick to my phone. Turns out that the photographer was already looking at me for a while and he came up to me. He's like, do you want a picture? I freaked out. I was like, yes, oh my God, a million times, yes. So he's like, okay, get behind the camera, do this, and do that. I was like, oh, man, can we do it my way?
Oh, shit.
Can I take a picture my way? Can I show you what I want to do? And he's like, yeah, sure, go for it, whatever. I'll just take it. Amazing shots that he took of me. Unbelievable. I felt like a model. Like,
Wow.
I wanted to. After that, I was like, damn, I think I want to be a model now.
Wait, but this photographer, he was from where, you said?
New York City. And he was doing the all-men's photo shoot.
Okay. I thought you said New York Times. I'm like, what? It's like, okay.
Sorry.
I'm like, yo, she's on the New York Times now.
I
It's
probably
like
messed up. But,
Yeah. Wow, but that's cool though.
yeah, so when he did that, I started to, I'm also really like, my biggest like inspiration, my role model, who I love to death, is Marilyn Monroe. That's a whole different topic, a whole different conversation. But at that time, I was feeling like Marilyn Monroe because the way that she got noticed was by a photographer who was also a man, and she was inside a facility with only men, which was, yeah. So I was having a whole Marilyn Monroe moment when he came up to me saying, do you want a picture?
Damn.
So that's when I knew I had to say yes, and that's when I knew that meditation was already like, it was already pulling the universe towards me, and that's why I needed to take advantage. So I took this photo, and I love it. I actually have it up on my page and on my website. And after that, I went up to Alex, the filmmaker, and I told him, I was like, I know what I want to do. I just want to be in New York City, just myself, just get every shot of me that I'm doing, whatever it is, every move. So he looked at me and he's like, you're right. Like, we should do that. That's all you know how to do probably for the video, like what you can show who you are. So, you know, I'm running in New York City across the, on the...
Catwalk?
No, not the cat. Well, I was doing a lot of catwalks.
That bridge thing, that High Line?
No, not there. But you know when you're crossing the street, the little white lines that you're skipping over the walk.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know what it's called.
Crosswalk?
Crosswalk, maybe. Yeah, I think it is crosswalk. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was jumping over those white lines in high heels, 5-inch high heels. Awesome, pretty cool.
I think I've seen boomerangs of that. Like,
Yes.
you have boomerangs on your page, right?
Yes, I
Of you
do.
just jumping and stuff and
Yes.
just going backwards and stuff? Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
It was so nice. I loved it.
Wow.
He recorded me doing that. He recorded me putting on lipstick. He recorded me just being myself. So then at the end of the day, it was already time to say goodbye. And I was so upset because I was having an amazing day. And I was going home and I was just reflecting back to myself and I was just thinking of my whole entire day. And this huge like energy force was going through my body and I was shaking. I was shaking for 3 days straight. I went into work the next 2 days, and like my coworkers, my manager was like, "What the fuck happened to you, Vanessa?"
Like shaking of happiness?
Yeah, I was
of
so
excitement? It's
excited.
just
Yeah, I didn't
static.
know why. I didn't know why I was
Wow.
so excited. I just was. I felt amazing, and I can say till this day, I wish I could go back again, or I wish
To
I
that
can
day.
feel that again, because that meditation, I felt like that's what started this excitement, because that's when I started shaking. And then my coworkers were like, what the hell happened to you? I want whatever you have. Like, it was getting to a point that they wanted to, like, tell my boss, like, they can drug test me. Because, like, they were thinking that I was on some drugs.
Check this girl out.
So then
That's funny.
So I was telling them it's the Kundalini meditation. And you guys have to do it. So going about the day, blah, blah, blah. I'm at work, taking orders because I work at an office for a bakery. And it just hit me. Creative writing. I'm going to write a book. This random person told me that my story was amazing, so why not write a book? Mm-hmm. I didn't know how to go about that because I don't like to read.
Mm-hmm. Really?
I'm actually forcing myself to start liking it.
Really?
Yep, I'm trying to get used to it. I'm doing pretty well. Mm-hmm. So that's basically what got me to writing a book, and the topic of it, all guys watching, you guys all have to hold on to your sacks right now. Because this shit is going to be amazing.
Hold on to my socks.
Yep. Because it's not another feminist book. It's not.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people like who will go into my page, they might think that in the beginning. But in reality, it's the ins and outs of a woman who finds freedom through the shadows of men who think that they're controlling this woman. So in broad,
wow,
that's the broad, you know, that's the whole concept. Yes, exactly. So it's not a feminist book because like all these feminists and all these trolls who say that they are feminists, they all say that we don't need men or men is this. They bash on men. I don't agree. I feel like women, in order for us to be here today with our rights that we have, is because we had to live through your shadows. You know, the reason why we fought for our rights is because we saw you guys fight. So we're learning from your skills in order for us to be superior, in order for us to be big. But in all honesty, women are lacking knowledge when they say that they want to be equal to men.
Yeah, I also agree.
I'm glad that you do. Yeah. There's a lot of men who don't. And whenever I hear a man say that they agree with me on that, that is what's going to make our world going. Yeah. As soon as a man believes in a woman, that's it. She won't stop, and he's going to continue to help her.
Just keep pushing each other, because I think that nowadays, especially nowadays, it's just like people are always trying to find teams to be a part of, right? It's a lot of that tribalism thing. It's a lot about that, you know, trying to attach yourself to a group. And then, you know, with like all of this leisure, I would say, or because there's this really good quote that I always forget, but it kind of says like this. It says that tough times create strong men, easy times create weak men, and weak men create tough times.
Oh, okay.
So I think that we're at a point where weak men create tough times because, because, for example, sorry, Donald Trump and just all of this political nonsense and just all these, you know, racist occurrences and, you know, just all of this stuff that's happening, all of this conflict. I think that it's a fruit of the fact that there's no real threat. There's no barbarian at the gate. There's no, you know, evil tribe coming to invade your village. There's none of that. And our brains are, you know, made, you know, instinctively to like counter that. And then when there's none of that, we kind of turn on each other. And I think that that's what happens, you know, with all these movements, racist movements, gender movements, everything. It's just like, it's so radical. It's like, if we just try to like find like a middle point and try to establish common grounds and be realistic about it, then we could actually accomplish something. But just like you said, it's like, it just doesn't make sense, you know, like trying to be, you know, like.
But even like, it doesn't make sense to be equal. I think all of us are different and unique. Yeah. But I think we should take advantage of that and like help each other out. Like, you know, you're using me for your podcast and I'm using this podcast, you know, for my website. Hopefully you get me. So it's like, it's okay to use each other.
It's a mutual benefit.
It's a mutual benefit. I just think that people are so negative about everything. And that's why, you know, they can't come together. Yeah. Any little situation, they can't come together. They have to go against it. You know, it's all by myself or nothing. I don't want your help. I'm going to survive this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But then that's when you realize at the end of the day, like, you're going home to an empty house all by yourself, living
Unfulfilled, miserable.
Unfulfilled and miserable because you don't want help from not even one person.
Yep.
And that's the part that sucks because already when you hit that depression stage, it's like nobody can help you unless you want your own help. So it's like, why can't you think of that before you hit that depression side? It's like, get help now that you're okay, so like that you can start moving, and who knows, you might be even helping that person out with something.
Yeah, 100%. And it also comes down to that thing where like we do things expecting like if I win, then you have to lose.
That's the part that I
That's
just hate hearing.
that's
I
the
hate hearing
mentality that everybody has, and like nobody ever thinks like a win-win. Like
why wouldn't
that's
you
how
not
I go about my day-to-day. It's like if it's not a win-win for both parties, then it's probably not worth it for neither of those parties.
Yeah.
Because if you're not acquiring, constructive relationships, like, because I believe in like, I value building relationships more than like, obtaining a certain thing. So for example, let's say that you had something that maybe I wanted. I would not think about, feigning friendliness just to acquire that one thing. I prefer to have your relationship and friendship for the long term. Because I think that a lot of people don't really think about that, like how powerful it is, just like you said, to lift each other and to create that community and that sense of, connection. And I think that nowadays it's all about, well, he has that, so I'll be friends with him because of that. And then like people are very plastic, people are very superficial because of social media, and people are good at it now, and that's the problem. That's what's confusing, because you'll see a person on Instagram, he or she portrays this lifestyle, maybe has this and that, and just takes pictures of this and that, and like you have that preconceived notion of what his or her values are, and they're okay with that because that's what they want you to think. So you look at that and you're like, wow, like and
then you meet them in person. It's a whole different story.
And he lives in his car. He's
just good at taking pictures.
Exactly. Taking pictures with other people's stuff or in front of other people's stuff.
It's like, if you're so good at that, then be a photographer.
Exactly.
Let somebody pay you to take pictures if you're that well.
That's exactly the mindset that people lack, I think, as well. It's just like you said, you were into interior design, right?
Yes.
So you were always in touch with your creative side. From the get-go. So like, but what sets you apart is that you actually doubled down and invested in curating and nourishing that creative endeavor. So then you brought yourself up in a sense where you helped yourself rather than getting in your own way. And I think a lot of people get in their own way with their insecurities, with phones and with social media and with everything going on around them, and like they kind of get unmotivated before they even start.
It's the fear,
It's fear, yeah.
It's literally going on Google and it's like, how can I not be afraid of this? You're already putting the word afraid. You're already setting yourself to failure by thinking that you should be scared of something. Fear is always going to stop you.
It's always going to just stop you in your tracks.
And that you can't listen to fear, we have that gut feeling inside of us. I feel like if we listen to that gut feeling when it's excited, when it's like, oh my God, like you have to do it, you have to do it, you have to do it. But then there's that little tiny thing on your right shoulder. It's like, no, don't do it because this is going to happen. That's going to happen. You're not going to survive. But this whole side of you is like, but you're going to have to do it. It's going to be amazing. So why would you pick that little tiny speck compared to like the whole world inside of you, Why would you do that? Just pick that side. Go with it. And who knows? Maybe it won't turn out amazing, but you're going to get something out of it. And that something is going to lead you to the reason of why you did this, if I'm making any sense.
You are, though. You are.
Okay.
You are. Yeah, like kind of touching on that, I think like I view us humans, people, as being also like open books, like blank books, right? You open a blank book, all the sheets are, blank, obviously. And the way that like I like going about life is that there's really no bad experience for me. It's all valuable in its own way. So if something really bad happens to me, I may be extremely emotional, afraid, maybe hold grudges, which is something that I also want to touch on again because I want to tell you what I learned from that actually.
Oh, okay.
So again, experiences and stuff. But yeah, but like I like that. I like adversity because of that, because it kind of forces you to see like, yo, like, because everybody has this limit in their mind, right? Like you have a
Yeah.
well-established limit that you might not even know it consciously, but subconsciously your brain knows it to a point where once you get to that point, your brain kind of stops you and just overwhelmed with fear just says like don't do it. You know, like it's that tipping point. It's where if you say yes, then that's when you actually get out of your comfort zone.
I actually, sorry to interrupt
No,
you.
that's fine.
Today I was watching 1,000,001 videos. I don't even know which video this one is. But I came across somebody that they were like, you only use basically like, he used the really good word, but you only use 5% of your brain. And that 5% is what you're already used to doing, which is like your routine. If you constantly keep writing with your right hand, you know, that 5% is going to know about your right hand. But then all of a sudden you go into your left hand and it's like,
Like
it
what's going on?
turns like what's going on, what's happening, this isn't the right hand, you know.
Yeah.
So that's when damn, I just lost myself.
It's okay. It's okay. Just using 5% of your brain and then right hand
So
and
you're
then
using
change.
your 5%. What did you say again? What did you say before that? Damn, I just messed up.
I forgot what I was saying too. Holy shit, hold up. I was talking about what the fuck is going on? Holy shit.
It's
Talking
the
about
5%.
yeah. I remember. I was talking about how a blank sheet, blank book, and then your brain gets overwhelmed with fear once you achieve establishing limits in your brain.
Okay, so so you're using your left hand. The minute you start changing it to your left hand, your brain freaks out. You freak out. You know, you can't really do it. But if you keep pushing it and you keep practicing to do it, eventually you're going to write just as well as you do with your right hand. So I think that's what we have to do when it comes to positivity and negativity. Your mind is already used to that negativity. Your mind is already used to the fear. Your mind's already used to hesitating. So push on the positivity.
Push against it.
Push it. Make it happen. Get up. You know, do it.
Yeah, just
Put the
just do it.
positivity inside of no, for real. Just
Sponsored
put
by
the
Nike.
positivity inside of you. There you go.
Sponsored by Nike.
Because eventually, if you keep practicing that with your mind, it's gonna push the negative side.
No, for sure. For sure.
You're going to grab on to like at least another 5% of your brain, which I'm assuming. I'm not a scientist.
For sure.
I'm hoping.
Just putting it out there. Yeah. No, for sure though. And like again, like just touching on the whole yeah.
It says 14 seconds remaining.
14 seconds. All
I
right,
don't
so
know.
then we'll swap the phones now.
Okay.
Yeah, so 14 seconds.
6, 5.
Okay. Hold on guys, just
4.
1 minute for the podcast people.
Ooh.
All right, cool. We're back. So, where were we before our break? Changing up the thing. It doesn't matter where we were. Let me just. All right. So I also want to ask about. Okay. So you were telling me about how you come from a very strict household.
Yeah.
Very traditional Portuguese. I had a lot of friends, Portuguese friends growing up, and I would go to their house after school and stuff. And like the difference between their household with my household was like day and night. It's like I walked in, his mother had him do like homework, like José.
Trabalho de casa.
Yeah, agora. And then like sit, like he would literally sit down almost crying, and then she would be really nice to me because I was the guest, and she would allow me to play or just go play video games and stuff, and he would be like literally like frustrated and crying and shit, but you know, always had a time and place for everything, and that was just fascinating to me because I never really had that structure
Oh, really? I know.
in my household. Really?
By today.
Really?
8 o'clock, I'll be there.
Yeah. I told
You
her.
have to see
I
my
told her-
Snapchats. I ranted about
Really?
it.
Really? I have to add you on Snapchat actually, because but that's exactly it. It's just like I never had structure growing up. But I think that I spoke about this once on a podcast, but I don't think I verbalized it clear enough. It's like the reason why I am the way I am today with certain things, I think it stems down from the fact that I'm extremely anti-authority.
Okay.
In a sense where it gets to an extreme where I'm against myself in a way. What do I mean by that?
Yeah,
I mean
I was
like,
gonna ask.
for example, let's say that I set up a schedule, right? I tried that many times. It does not work. Why doesn't it work? It's because the Cali tonight that sets up the schedule is different than the Cali tomorrow morning. The Cali tomorrow morning will look back and say like, what? Like schedule? Like, dude, I'll just do whatever I want. It's like, but it's not like intentionally. It's just like a subconscious thing. Like, I'll get the schedule. I'll try to follow it, but I'll always feel like, I could maybe go 5 minutes over here. Like, there's no problem. Like, I could do a little bit more here. So that kind of that's how I go about my day. Kind of.
Okay.
And that goes for everything. It's not just you today.
No, I
it's
believe it.
meetings, like meetings with like business related stuff, fiber fitness related stuff. Once I was late, like I think an hour, and people were like waiting for me for an hour, and I was just like, holy fuck.
Late.
Not fashionably late. Like, that's just fucking late. Like, that's just
Yeah, no, that
you're
is.
a fucking dick. Yeah. But I don't do that intentionally though. It's just like, it's just the way. And I read that when you're like, because I try to multitask, right?
Okay.
Because I think I have this weird way of perceiving time. I think that's
explain it. Maybe I'll figure it out.
I think that's my main problem. I think it's like, if you tell me I have an hour, I'll think of 100 things that I could do within that 1 hour.
Oh, I do.
And I'll try to do those 100 things. So if you say an hour, I'll be like, all right, so 25 minutes, I'll read like 5 pages of this book.
I do that too. I thought it was crazy.
No, I do that. Like, I literally break it down to like tasks that I could do. So when I said 8 o'clock, for example, my sister, she was doing her school project on that floor over there. It was just like cardboard everywhere and shit. And I think it was like 8 o'clock, and then I was like, holy shit, I didn't set up the mics yet. And then I sat here, I was like trying to get everything adjusted, the delay. That was half an hour. I looked at the clock, it was like 8:30. I was like, fuck. And then I saw all of those cardboard on the floor. I was like, I can't leave it like that. And then I started picking it up, throwing it in the garbage. I vacuumed that area right there real quick. I was like, fuck. Just looking at the time, I'm like, holy shit, I didn't eat anything. And then I just grabbed something I just ate in the car. But that's how my brain is. It's like, I don't see time passing.
Yeah.
Because I'm so intense in what I do. So when I do something, I'm like so dedicated and so locked in that when I notice it, I'm like, holy fuck. Like, half an hour flew by, an hour flew by. So that's mainly why I suck with time.
I forgive you.
All of that was just a huge I'm sorry to her, actually. Like,
Dude,
FYI.
I was on Snapchat.
Snapchat or Instagram Snap?
No, it was Snapchat.
Snapchat. I have to add you on Snapchat.
Yeah,
now.
Snapchat is usually where I put more of the personal side of me.
Yeah.
So I was like ranting. I was like, oh my God, I hate waiting for people. Like, it's not just with you. You're not the only one who does it. And it's something that I have to learn personally. It's just, I'm the type of person, living in the household that I did live in.
Yeah.
It's like we had a time for everything. And that is a good in one way, but at the same time, it's not, because it created OCD in my head.
And it doesn't allow you to be flexible and pivot in a sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I stress out when it's not going a certain way.
Yeah.
So, like, I was on Snap and I was like, I hate waiting for people. Like, you can't just
Who's
tell
she
me a
talking
time.
about? Who's she talking about? I don't know who she's talking about.
I was like, you can't just give me a time and not show up. You gave me the time.
I don't know who she's talking about.
I do that with everybody.
Yeah.
Because I know me, when I tell somebody at 7:30 I'm going to be there, I will be there at 7:30.
I wish I could do that.
It's just because of the way I am.
It's because of your come up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's because of how you were brought up.
But it sucks though, because, okay, so like the schedule thing. I try to create a schedule for myself because that's just like the OCD. That's just my stress level. If I don't do it, then I don't know. Like, I feel lost. So it's like I have to put out a list of things that I have to do. When I was younger, I used to put like, as in younger, I meant 3 years ago.
Okay.
So 3 years ago when I did this.
Long time ago.
Yeah, this was like my anxiety kicking in, and it was like I would put the times. So I would have to like do my homework until this time. This time I switch over and I keep doing that. With that, I used to stress so much.
More?
Yeah, like I wouldn't get things done because I would be freaking out. I would check the time more than actually getting my task done.
Yeah.
So now the thing that I do, I don't really create a schedule anymore. Now it's more, I put down a list of things that I should do that day. If I don't get it done, then I just transfer it over to the next day of a list of things that I have to do.
And today she had to do 150 things that were just all accumulated from past 3 years since she started. But
But you get me?
Yeah, I get it though. Yeah, but that's much more effective. It's like not putting time constraints on like certain things. Like you can't put limits on something. Yeah, because you can't control the outcome.
You can't. And then I was also starting to think, like, when I would put in the times, I would say to myself, like, damn, I don't have enough time in a day. I need more time.
Yeah.
I need more time. And then, like, I just kept constantly hearing, like, older people saying, like, you have the same amount of time as Beyonce. You have the same amount of time
Oprah.
as Kanye, Oprah, as Gary Vee. You have the same amount of time. You know? So when they kept saying that to me, it's like, oh, my God, but I feel like I need more.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really just because I was basing it off of getting things done within 10, 15 minutes. And that's not the way to live, you know?
No, for sure it's not.
You're living behind a clock. You're just stuck there.
Do you have any morning routines? Anything that you do religiously every single day that you can't, if you don't do it, you'll feel miserable. You'll feel a different way.
I'm going to be 100% honest. If I ever become a life coach, I'm going to be the worst one because I don't. I'm not a morning person. I'm really not. I hate waking up. I hate waking up in the morning. I hate being disturbed in the morning. I don't like people talking to me in the morning. I don't talk for a good hour in the morning when I wake up. I don't like to associate with anybody. I literally.
So how do you go to work? I mean, like, don't you communicate with your coworkers?
I'm trying to get another job. No,
and then she starts crying in front of me, oh my God.
I tend to accept it, like, as I'm walking or driving or commuting. Like, it eventually goes away, you know? But, like, the second I wake up, don't talk to me, you know? Let me get my things done. Let me eat breakfast. I don't eat breakfast. Let me drink my coffee. When I'm done with my coffee, you can talk to me. I guess that's how you can say it.
Yeah.
So, in the morning, I don't have a routine. At night, I guess you could say I'm starting to build a routine for myself at night. In the morning, I don't have one because it's either I wake up extremely late. Trust me, that is something that everybody hates about me is morning plans. That's something that if you mess up on that, don't worry about it because I do too.
Okay.
I have people who call my house phone to wake me up in the morning because I won't wake up.
Wow.
And they call like 2 or 3 times because of the
just to make sure
for me to wake up.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how I would wake up in high school to go to school.
What does your night routine look like?
So,
the one that you're trying to create
the one
now.
I'm trying to build. Okay, so, well, I'll get home from a long day, whatever. I actually do a lot of bubble baths. You know, I have a bubble bath. I will either take care of my skin or my hair, something of beauty-wise. That boosts up anybody's confidence, whether you're a girl or a guy, I believe. So I'll do something beauty-related after the bubble bath. Shower, whatever. And after that, I will sit in my room. I'll reflect on my day. I'll try to write down like at least 5 things that I'm grateful for.
I was about to ask you.
You know, that's gratitude. I feel like you need that in order to get you going the next day. And then I meditate after that. And you know, there's days where if I don't meditate, I pray. So I actually mix both of them. I'm not sure if we can. I heard that you shouldn't be mixing your religion with stuff like that because so-called of the devil or whatever. You know how religious people can be. I don't know if you're religious or anybody, you know, sorry. But I do both. I learned to combine both. So
I get it, though.
I pray to talk to God and I meditate to listen to him. If that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. Yeah.
So that's what I do at night. If I'm not praying one night, then I'm meditating. Whatever it is that I do, it just sinks into my head and I go to sleep and I wake up in a better mood in the morning.
And if it works for you, then who's anybody to tell you otherwise?
Yeah, exactly.
100%. Yeah, so like I'm pretty huge on like mornings. It's kind of ironic. It's like I'm not able to keep a schedule when it comes to like meetings and stuff, but in the morning, like I have this it's a pretty bizarre morning routine where I used to advertise it a lot on my Instagram. I used to post a lot and stuff, but then I saw that it was kind of getting repetitive because I was just doing it like every day and trying to like post and stuff to like motivate people. But what I would do is, or what I still do is, I wake up, I go to sleep at 9:30, 10:30. Obviously today is an exception, right? Because
right both now, of us.
yeah. But usually like 9:30. And when I go to sleep at 9:30, I wake up at 2:30, 3:30 a.m.
Yeah, I would too.
5 hours of sleep. that's what I've been conditioning myself to accept. And then when, for example, if I go to sleep at 10:30, I'll wake up at 3:30. If I go to sleep at 9:30, I'll wake up at 2:30, 5 hours. And then when I wake up at either one of those times, I'll optimize that slot between 2:30 and 5 a.m. to like respond to every email and everything related to Fiber Fitness in the morning. Yeah, just respond to emails. I'll literally.
That's what I do at night. I can't do that in the morning.
I'll literally sit down because like my mentality is like, while everybody's sleeping, I'm working.
That's how I think, but I think
But
at night,
yeah. Which is great too. Which either
one works.
Yeah, but like I'll sit down, respond to emails, do prepare for meetings that day. Anything that I need to do Fiber Fitness related, like that's the slot that I take advantage of. And then at 5 a.m., I'll go to the gym, work out, and then get home around like 6:30, 7 o'clock, and then I'll start my day. And then I'll have coffee. I won't eat until maybe 12, 1 p.m. I do intermittent fasting, which is when you stay like certain hours of without eating. And I'm a firm believer that having a routine, be it a night routine or a morning routine, it sets you up for that day or for the next day. In your case, it's for the next day. So it's really effective. And if people had that consistency and that routine, I think they would take advantage of their day much more.
I think so too. It starts off your day, it gets your brain working, gets your body energized,
Especially the gratitude thing that you said, which is something that people don't really take time to
I just started doing
practice.
it, but it's really good.
Mindfulness.
Yeah, it's even something small like I'm thankful for moving all 10 fingers. You know, not a lot of people can say that.
But it's because it's just so much information that's coming in constantly, all the time.
Yeah.
You're constantly being like shot, like information left, right, Facebook, Instagram, social media, peer pressure, this, that, criticism, and whatever. It's just so much shit coming in that you're trying to process all that information. And when you do meditation and when you just isolate yourself and you just become mindful of your surroundings and of everything around you, and you be be thankful for like your fingers, for breathing, for just focusing on your breathing. And just think about
absolutely, yeah.
Joe Rogan, shout out Joe Rogan. I'm a huge Joe Rogan fan. To me, like my idols, which I'm gonna ask you in a bit, my idols are Joe Rogan and Gary Vee. Like those are the top two people that I look up to. And Gary Vee follows me on Twitter now, actually. So shout out Gary Vee. That was literally one of I was so stoked. I was like, fuck. But anyway, so Joe Rogan says, he has a pretty funny quote. He says that we're all talking monkeys on an organic spaceship floating through space. So like if you think about it, like that's literally what we are. Like he tries to like reduce it to like the most realist thing and it truly is, it's true. So if you think about life that way, you start thinking how insignificant your problems are in comparison to what the bigger thing is. And I think that's the power of meditation. But do you do that special meditation that Alex taught you, or do you do your own stuff?
Like that was my first one that I've ever did. That was really special. I actually just do like regular meditation. You can literally, it's just, what I literally do is like sit down for 5 minutes and I just
not think about anything.
It's not even that, because it's not like that. A lot of people think it's like, I can't just sit down for 5 minutes, which is so true, because when I first started, I couldn't.
It's hard.
I couldn't sit down for even a minute. Everybody's quiet around you, and it's like so many thoughts are just running through your head. So that's not what meditation is. Meditation is not just staying quiet in a room. It's really like you have to practice it in order for you to have space inside of your head. So before I met you, I would just meditate to myself. I would just try to like put myself in my room and just like stay quiet and just breathe. But then you told me about that app, Headspace.
Which is an awesome app.
So yeah, when
do you use it?
Yeah, I actually do use
shit.
it. Yeah, I actually do use Headspace. I started using another app that's called Calm, and then I started reading more about it. And with that, every day, I feel like I have more and more space added into my head. So that's really what meditation is. It's really learning how to breathe first. Forget about all these million of thoughts. Leave them there. They will go eventually. Just learn to breathe first. Take it easy. Slow down.
Just like that voice from Headspace says, it's like if you start drifting off a bit and thinking about other stuff, just let it go,
Let it go, yeah.
come calmly, and just whatever, and then let it disperse like a cloud or something like that.
Yeah, there's even one part of it where they're like, if you're having thoughts in your head,
don't fight it.
Don't fight it. Let them
Yeah.
come. Think about that. The reason why you're having these thoughts is because
Address
of
it.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Address it. Yeah, exactly. So it's really helpful. So I think people should get that app if they don't get it, because it is kind of little quirky and stuff like that.
It is,
because
like,
it has
people-
these little cartoons.
Yeah, but
it's-
people kind of look down on like meditation. Like they still think that it's kind of like a hippie thing. It's like, oh, dude, you meditate, dude? Oh yeah, dude, do you
Yeah,
surf too,
they
dude? Or you
either-
like,
it's
do you smoke
funny.
shit? Yeah.
It's funny because they either think it's that, or like a lot of my friends, they'll play around with me saying like I'm working with like magic or whatever.
Oh, black
'Cause, like,
magic, witchcraft, and shit.
yeah, a lot
That's
of people
funny.
do
That's
that
hilarious.
because
Yeah.
I do have like a small collection of like crystals and rocks, but that's just my personal thing. I like I like the decor and I like the meaning behind each rock, and I use those rocks to meditate. It just
Yeah, sure.
it grounds my soul, So a lot of people underestimate meditation. They don't really know about it. I feel like people should know about it. People should be learning about it. That's the only thing where I think meditation is what gets you to your purpose of life.
I think so too.
If anybody's looking for their purpose in life, you have to meditate because meditation is going to get you there.
Yeah.
It's going to just move you a step closer. And I feel like meditation gives you hope. And it's like, it doesn't harm you. It's not
not a drug or
discriminating.
anything
Yeah,
like that, so.
it's not a drug, but it might have the same effects as a drug.
It might,
I
yeah.
heard that from some people. They actually
too,
told
me
me
too,
that.
me too.
So,
Yep.
why don't you lay off the drugs and try this?
Stop smoking crack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So-
Have you ever tried any like drugs? Like, what's your experience with drugs? Have you ever tried any?
So, do you want the
Crazy.
truth or do you want to lie? But then we got to block my parents.
Let's go.
I mean, the truth or the lie,
I'll get the truth either way, right? So
We
either
got to
one.
block my parents. Is there a way to block them in case if they're looking?
They're watching right now.
Or-
and they're
or,
probably
like, any family
get them home.
members."
Yeah. No, I mean, like,
No.
no.
No, well, like, when you say drugs.
I mean, like, what do you mean? Like,
Yeah, what do you mean
Yeah.
drugs?
I mean, like, for example, Joe Rogan talks a lot about. Have you ever heard about the sensory deprivation tank? It's literally a tank filled with water, and apparently they have like salt and a bunch of shit where you just float inside. So it's completely dark.
This is a drug?
No.
Okay.
No.
Like, wait, I don't want
It's
to
a
try
tank.
that then.
No, but he says that it gives you the same effects as if you were to use mushrooms. And do you know about DMT?
Okay, so I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know anything about drugs.
No.
I was actually having this conversation the other day with somebody. I was like, dude, I don't know anything about drugs. I don't know. Like, if you're talking about
That's good.
marijuana,
Yeah,
I've
it's
tried
like,
it.
what?
I just know how to smoke it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
inhale it, exhale.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
No,
know
I get it, I
do
get it.
drugs, to
Yeah.
be honest.
Yeah. It's just weird. It's like there are
All
certain
you
things.
potheads right now.
Yeah. Everybody's like, yo, smoking right now, fam.
Right?
Nah, but like DMT is called the spirit drug. Something like that.
Okay.
A lot of people that smoke DMT, they say that they literally have extraterrestrial, they communicate with like it sounds really wacky, but if you like, it lasts 15 minutes, I think.
Okay.
It's a quick trip, and essentially what happens is like everybody that uses it just comes back completely transformed.
So why don't you just meditate? It's
You
the
could do
same
that.
thing.
Meditate exactly. But meditation like takes practice and time.
Yeah, it
And again, right back to the whole instant gratification thing that we were
Yeah.
discussing earlier. It's like people want it now. But I think that like there are certain things that I would try, but just if I knew that it would benefit me in the long run.
you know.
But like like coke and heroin and all that shit, like that shit's not
No.
good. Kids, if you're using any of those, come on, man, just think about your parents, think about your future. Just don't
Yeah, think about
just don't go
yourself.
down. Just think about yourself first. Exactly.
You know?
About yourself, deploy mindfulness and stuff. But yeah, so I wanted to ask you before I forget, you said that you were really passionate about interior design at one point, right?
Yes. I still am.
You still are.
That's going to be my career, because I want to write a book. But we
that's
never
gonna be
know.
your passion, hobby.
Yeah, we never know the outcomes of that. Not being negative,
Yeah.
Completely.
Realistic.
I feel like I have a really good idea. A lot of people agree with it. Not that I should depend on that, but I have to also know my audience. But at the end of the day, I do need to make money somehow.
Yeah.
For many reasons, so it's like at the end of the day, I do need a job, so I will still stay committed to interior design. I'm going to finish my bachelor degree, hopefully get into master's, and I'll have a job, and I'll be doing the two things that I love, so I shouldn't be hating my life.
Exactly. And you need money to fund your dreams, I guess, right? To
invest
maybe
in them.
publish your own books in a couple of years
Who
from now
knows?
and have your own company.
I don't know what's going to happen in 5 years.
Do you have any role models that you look up to? Any people that you aspire to be like? Any major people that maybe people watching know? Or it doesn't even have to be somebody that they know. It could be somebody personal, on a personal level. Just somebody that impacted you to a point where you
Man, I wish she was watching this right now. But my manager, dude, believe it or not,
really?
I did not want to work at Texera's Bakery. I
know Texera's Bakery. Yeah.
I worked there in the office. I did not want to work there. But let me tell you, funny story. Like, she's this woman where you look at her and it's like, who the fuck does she think she is? And that's how people look at me too. But
so that's how you guys bonded, essentially, or kind of.
Oh no.
What?
Okay, no, it's still working, I think. Cause I think it's still working.
Is it?
Look, I don't know what it says on yours.
I think it's the battery. I'll just go check.
Got it. Do I continue?
You could, yeah.
So no, that's not how we bonded, actually. She's my manager, so she had no choice but to talk to me, and I had no choice to talk to her. And she sits in front of me, and it's doing that again.
Did it stop?
Yeah. Think so.
All right. No.
Nope.
All right, so let's just end the live because we did enough of it.
Got it.
And then we'll just. Yeah, there's like 6 people watching.
30.
30 people watching on yours? Really?
Yeah, 30 viewers.
Damn.
6 people who just finished watching it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's good. All right, so sorry. Yeah.
Continue? Okay, got it. Yep. So she had to end up talking to me. I had to end up talking to her. She's my manager. The first couple of months were a little shaky. I was intimidated by her in one way, but at the same time I wasn't compared to my other coworkers towards her. I was just intimidated, damn, is she gonna like me or not? Everybody else was intimidated, oh my gosh, she's my manager.
Yeah, she's strict.
But then I got to know her on a personal level because I was going through something. I forgot what it was, some silly teenage shit, that us people go through. And she helped me a lot in that situation. And when she did that, I really felt like I had not only a manager, but a friend at work. So with that, she also has this sense of style to her where she's super fashionista. And yeah, she inspires me, the way she walks, the way she talks, the way she dresses, and she's an older woman. She's 44, not to put her age there. Sorry. Wow. She's going to yell at me, but she's not listening right now. Sorry, I wasn't supposed to do that.
She'll be listening tomorrow.
So, okay, she is older, but you look at her, she looks like she's 20. She's super healthy.
Because of her confidence as well.
Confidence, yeah, she takes care of herself. She works out, and she's working at this place where she doesn't want to work at, but she's still going to conquer her dreams. And she tells me all the time, it's never too late.
What's her dreams?
She wants to be a fashion consultant.
Oh, really?
And, she's building a website, and I'm helping her with that.
Wow.
And I hope she does it. Verissima Vera, shout out to you.
Also leave the link below if it's out. Is it out yet?
Not out yet,
but when it is, I'll just edit
definitely,
and just leave it down there.
She's amazing. She's perfect. She's a mother. And I look at her as a mother figure as well, She's a mother of a boy. And she always says, I don't want a daughter. I never wanted a daughter. But, at work, she's my mom. Yeah. I love her to death. She always pushes me a lot. She actually didn't know about the podcast thing because I kind of wanted to surprise her with it. But she's a great woman. She's really smart, and she pushes me to my limits. She's the reason why I'm actually writing this book, because if it wasn't for her, I would probably still be crying over my finals. You know?
Yeah. So her confidence kind of transferred over to you, and she kind of gave you a direction, kind of gave you.
Yeah, she put a lot of confidence into me. She made me.
That's
You know,
crazy.
I learned a lot these 3 years working there than what I did anywhere else. You know, I learned a lot from her. Just her talking to me. You know, and she's not even a serious person. She's such a silly goofball, and a lot of people don't see it because she has this shell around her where she's like, I'm this woman and you don't
trying to keep
disrespect
professional.
me. Yeah, and I'm professional. Da-da-da. That's it. That's what she is. But when you like dig into that, which a lot of people don't do with her, it's like
a completely different
person. And I'm super happy that I went through that tough time and I got to know who she is. She's amazing. Other than her, Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe. Shout out Marilyn Monroe. But I think that's extremely important. Like, so you would consider her a mentor for sure, right? A mentor
Yeah,
in a sense.
Yeah, like a self-coach
yeah,
mentor
just a
type of
person
thing.
like
She also
push you.
meditates too.
She does?
Yeah.
Did she learn it with you or did she already do it?
She was already doing it, and she was like convincing us at work to do it.
Oh shit! During the job?
Yeah, I'm
Just,
telling
like,
you,
drop
she's
everything.
a goofball. No, you have to see when she's stressed out. Guys, we're meditating.
Just sit down.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's dope. So kind of connecting to that, because you said a lot about pushing you and kind of motivating you forward and stuff. And I'm always fascinated about knowing what drives people. And I think that everybody has a why. Like everybody has an end goal in mind, right? Everybody acts with an end goal in mind, be it, you know, in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, depends on like how far you look down that road, varies from person to person. And I just want to ask you, like, what is your why? And it's okay if you don't have a why defined yet, because everybody defines it sometime along that journey. But do you have a why defined where you're like, everything that you're doing is kind of working towards something, and that something tends to be bigger than ourselves? It doesn't have to be like, maybe, again, superficial. Maybe people like, you know, I'm working towards that BMW. And then once you get that BMW, you'll know that you're not fulfilled because then it'll start.
It's materialistic
Yeah,
things.
exactly, because that won't fulfill you spiritually or internally. So I believe in whys and like something bigger than you, bigger than anything. Do you have one?
Yeah, I actually kind of do. So my why would be that at the end of the day, after I do everything that I'm doing, I'm just hoping, just like how I tell my manager, and I've been constantly telling her lately, it's like, I hope one day I could be half the woman she is. And honestly, I hope that one day some girl or even a boy, it's like, I want them to come up to me and be like, I'm living the life that I'm living because of you. Or like, I changed my mind because of you. Or what I saw you do, I'm going to do too. Or I hope to be you. That's all I want to hear. I think at the end of the day, if I hear that, I'm calm. Like I feel
That's great.
You know, I feel like I surpassed my goal.
Just changing lives. Basically.
Exactly. And you know, as of now, I haven't heard that exactly in those lines, but I have heard like, wow, I literally live to go on your Instagram just to read what you're writing.
Wow.
I want to see what happens next on your website. You know, and hearing those things, it makes me think like I'm on the right path. And I haven't felt like I was on the right path while I was doing interior design. I had a lot of people who believed in me, but it wasn't
not the same thing.
It wasn't the same thing. I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't believing in myself. And now with this writing, it's like now I can share that enjoyment with other people. Like they agree with me, I agree with them, and I'm living, they're living. And hopefully they can come up to me at the end of the day and tell me like I'm the person I am because of you.
Yeah.
That's all I want to hear at the end.
Wow, that's amazing. That's great. So basically just influence as
I
many
just
people
wanna
as
help
possible.
people, yeah.
Just even I'm huge on that, where I'm like, I really care about what image, what impact I have on people that I come across. Right. And I always try to leave like a positive impact. It's like anybody I meet. It's like, for example, nowadays it's so crazy where if you hold a door for somebody, people will look at you like you just fucking found the cure for cancer. It's
But
like,
in reality,
holy
that's
shit. Like,
something that's been happening.
but that's just something like to me, like that's just second nature. Like at the gym, I was like one day, like I was leaving the gym and this old lady was like kind of far away behind me. I opened the door, waited for her to come. It was like literally like 5 minutes, and she had her little walking cane and stuff. I just chilled there waiting, held the door open, held the other one open.
Exactly.
I just
yeah.
helped
It's
her out.
not
And then
harming
the other
you.
day I went to the gym, and the people that worked at the reception desk saw that, and then they called me over and it's like, yo, like congratulations on what you did yesterday. I'm like, wow, like
I
like
did a good
hold
deed.
a door for a lady like that. But that to me isn't a good deed. That to me is
That's-
like it's just a necessary
Yeah,
instinct
that's human
as
nature.
human nature.
Like,
Yeah, it's just
yeah.
helping other people, and I'm really huge on that. And I just want to like close this podcast out because we're almost at 1 hour and a half already. Damn, definitely. But all right, so from now on, what I'm gonna ask every other guest or every guest from now on is like, if you had access to let's pretend that everybody on like in the world had an earpiece plugged into their ears.
I think
Obviously,
everybody already knows what I'm gonna
yeah,
say.
earpiece. They could understand you no matter what language.
Okay.
You know, they could be Chinese, Japanese, whatever.
Okay.
They'll understand what you're saying. And you have this one opportunity right now to speak to everybody in the world. What would you want them to hear? It doesn't have to be necessarily related to you. It could be something motivating, anything. Like what, it doesn't have to be just one sentence either. Just what's a message that you want to give out to humanity right now if you had the world stage, literally the world stage, and everybody's looking at you?
Slowly reaching for my phone to see what I have on my phone.
Slowly running away.
I just wow, you really put me on the spot there. There's so many things you can say.
But just like don't overthink it though. Just like think about just something that you really want like people to know, I think. It's like or people to hear. Something that you've noticed basing off of maybe smaller groups that you I don't know, live with on a day-to-day basis.
Maybe it would be like I think it would be like, you know, create your own life. Hold your own pen and hold it nice and straight and just let it flow and just create whatever you want at the end of your just create what you want. Write what you want, create what you want, and it's going to happen the way you want it. So just hold up your pen nice and straight, and while it's nice and straight, just drag it down the paper. And just, I think you should just live your life like that, to how you want to do it. Don't let anybody else tell you what to do.
Force your hand.
Don't let anybody hold the pen for you. Don't give your pen to somebody. You do it. You control your life. I think it would be something like along those lines.
And with that, we'll close this podcast. That's something for you guys to think about. Do you want to just leave a question staring into that camera for just a question for the listeners of this podcast, like something that you want them to think about? It's like, are you doing this? Like, are you like, what color is your pen? Or are you the boss of your own destiny? Or something like that. Yeah.
Okay,
or.
So I just told you about Vanessa's touch. So what's your touch?
Yeah, exactly. And plug in whatever you got to plug right now.
Vanessa's touch.
Vanessa's touch. I'll leave everything in the description. But what's your touch? As in, what's your take on
your story? What's your story?
What's your story? What do you have to say? So comment below. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're probably watching this on YouTube, or you're listening to the podcast version on SoundCloud. I'll be working on getting this podcast up on iTunes and Spotify as well. I'm still looking into that. I just haven't had the time to, research. But yeah, so thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, guys. This was awesome. Thanks for coming here.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
It's 12:30, and I'll add you on Snapchat.
I don't know what I'm going to tell my parents when I get home.
But now we're going to run home because both of us have to work tomorrow. But this was awesome, and I'll get this up tomorrow. And also, and try to get everything up as soon as possible. So thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you.